Hello, tonight Sam Fuller, a grand old man of the American cinema. He's now 71 and his career in films goes back half a century. He sold his first script in 1936 and started directing in 1948. His latest film, White Dog, made 2 years ago, has been released in France but not in England or America. Fuller's heyday was the 50s when it was still possible to make films cheaply and quickly in Hollywood. With the support of men like Darryl Zanuck, the studio boss at 20th Century Fox, Fuller put out a steady stream of pictures which he both wrote and directed. Usually, he's worked with conventional forms, the crime film, the war film, and the western. But he's always used these, like the reporter he once was, to tell strong stories, which are also investigations into some of the dark corners of American life. Nigel Wattis filmed Fuller at home in Hollywood in a room jam-packed with scripts, books, and souvenirs of a lifetime in movie-making.
Man with the mortarboard, that's Gene Fowler, great newspaper man, dead. It's an old cartoon that you just passed. John Ford, Zanuck. Gets an award for the pickup on South Street. That's my wife, Krista, professional actress, mother of a 6-and-a-half-year-old kid, worked with Godard and Chabrol. These are some old films. I'm trying to keep a collection of them, but I can't because people borrow them. And being born thieves and liars never return them. Most of this is supposed to house my scripts. It's hard for you to get into it. But behind all this, you can see part of it over here. It's all alphabetically arranged. These are shooting scripts from A to Z. They include also treatments, synopses, and whatnot. We passed a double-panel little board there, and in there I have what I call my secret ideas that nobody will ever buy. And I wrote them up, too. This was a garage. My wife got the idea of making it into a workshop. I still don't have enough room for the books. Oh, I need a cigar. Just a minute. You know what Kipling said? A woman is just a script, but a cigar is a motion picture.
You was always a regular kind of crook. I never figured you for a louse.
Is there a law now? I gotta listen to lectures?
Sam Fuller was born in Worcester, Massachusetts in 1912. When his father died, the family moved to New York, where Fuller worked selling newspapers on the street.
And I had sold papers in Worcester. All kids sell papers. And by the way, that's why you call them newsboys. When I reached New York City, I didn't see a newsboy, I saw a newsman. The corners in New York City, you have to buy them. This is New York. This is not Worcester. You can put down 20 or 30 papers and they're gone in a second. In those days, paper sold for 2 cents. You bought them for a penny. You made a penny. Generally, they drop a nickel or a dime. That's the difference between New York and Worcester. And in Worcester, they waited for the change. And in those days, to buy newspapers, you had to go to the circulation department of a paper downtown. And one day, I must have been over 12 and a half. And a man called Tom Foley, I'll never forget him, he came out on the circulation ramp. And he had one eye. And he was partially deaf. So he had So I like people with eye patches. And I heard the presses and heard the presses and heard the presses. We all did. And the earth shook when those presses ran. And he invited me in, and I saw the press room. It was just wonderful. He was the foreman of the press room, by the way. I was talking to the boss, and I didn't know it. Then he said, come upstairs. We walked upstairs to the 7th floor, and I entered paradise. It's called the City Room, just said one word, editorial. This was the New York Evening Journal, biggest newspaper in the world. And I said to Foley, this is where I'd like to work, and he said, that's the boss. I went up and I asked him for a job. He said, how old are you? And I told him. He said, well, first, you can't work in New York City unless you have working papers. And you have to be 14. How old are you? I said, 14. He said, that's a good start. Now, I will phone someone in the department of... I have my badge here. I'll show it to you. I have my newsboy's badge here somewhere. I have it. I still have the button. I started working on the New York Journal as a copy boy. I was about 12 and a half. And when you have to get a cut in those days, photo engraving, 1 or 2 columns or clipping, they have this big room all alphabetically arranged, and it's the history of the world. Participants in all its tragedies and all its humor. I just loved the newspaper business immediately. Just loved it.
By the time he was 17, Fuller had become the youngest crime reporter in New York. He used his experiences to write pulp novels, and by the middle of the 1930s, he was adapting them for the screen. He went to Hollywood as a writer, but has always held fast to the values of the newspaperman, insisting that his films have a strong story and tell it with maximum impact. This film, Park Row, is his tribute to the newspaper world. He wrote, produced and directed it, and it's the only film he ever financed himself.
This is Johannes Gutenberg, who invented movable type 500 years ago and printed the Bible. Recognized as the father of modern printing, Gutenberg stands on Park Row, the most famous newspaper street in the world, where giants of journalism mixed blood and ink to make history across the front page of America. Our story takes place in New York in the lusty days of the golden 80s, when Park Row was the birthplace and graveyard of great headlines. The street of America's first world-famous journalist, a printer's devil who helped draft the Declaration of Independence and was one of its signers, Benjamin Franklin, patron saint of Park Row.
I would like very much to contribute 1/1000th of a percent of a record, which I don't think it'll be. I don't think it'll be accepted as a record, of the habits and the customs, just as if it's a diary of the United States and other parts of the world where it's involved with other parts. Because now I'm a great admirer of Pepys, but I like a man called John Evelyn much better. I have his 6 volumes, and they're wonderful. He has one thing the other man lacked, and that's humor. But they're great reporters. Great, not good, great. And if anything irritates anyone, even for a minute, I enjoy it. It's very easy, more than easy, is to write a 10th 1/3. That means an ordinary ABC type of a movie where you're not upsetting anybody's emotions anywhere. Everybody is happy, everybody. And I'm saying this to you, I've said it to the writers who did that. That's an art. I just couldn't do it. I couldn't. Nothing to do with being snobbish or it's my background, my rearing. I could not have a scene. I just couldn't write a scene of a dance and the boy and the girl go out to the balcony and he says, it's a nice evening. Yes, she says, he says cigarette and he gives a cigarette. I love him. I've seen him in pictures since I was a kid, silent days. I could never write it or shoot it. Unless, somebody had planted a bomb under her ass right before she came out for that cigarette. I really have to have something happening. Now, that's tough writing. Mine is the easier writing. Mine, something is happening. That's entertaining. The toughest writing is a bad day by the sea British play with 2 or 3 actors where nothing happens. That's the toughest writing in the world. I've seen plays like that. I've seen them with the 3 Sir. I've seen them with Richardson, Olivier, and Gilbert. They lifted it up with their acting, but it's forgettable. I like to write an angry film, put a little humor in it, and make it as a report, so that it's just as if I'm writing a news story.
Special Sunday extra. 4th of July. Look at that headline. 120 points. Look at that paper. That lunatic.
This is history, Jeff. This is history.
The camera's the greatest storyteller in the world. But the camera is my typewriter. That's what I meant to tell you. We are using your camera as a typewriter, nothing else. Forget over the shoulders. When I have an establishing shot, something is happening in that shot. In other words, if I were doing a winter scene, I don't have a cabin and a long shot with snow to establish to everyone there's snow and it's a cabin. There better be something happening in that foreground, or we move to something happening. So I combine establishing with the character and motivation.
Let's you breaking up our newsstands. Come on!
One of the ways that Fuller gives his films their power is by covering a lot of action in one long, dynamic shot.
Generally, in motion pictures, you cut that up. It's a long shot, it's a medium, it's a reverse, it's a low angle, it's a high angle. I like one shot, generally. One.
Vince, what's the matter? Busting up my newsstands isn't going to stop me from selling papers.
Busting up your what?
I thought you were a newspaper man.
The camera should be moving at all times. It takes a lot of rehearsal, tremendous amount of rehearsal.
Where's Leach? How did I get, Mitch? You wanted a different editorial department, so we turned your desk around. Now you can see everything that's going on. All right. Where's Leach?
He got a butter cake Dick's brewery wagon. Went to South Street to the fish market to try and get some paper.
You better come back loaded with paper. I'll give you some copy in a minute, Mr. Angelo. Jeff, we're going to tell this town all about Hackett's circulation package right now. I want you to get this in the lead. The Globe fights with news, not knuckles. We use words, not fists. What happened to you?
They killed the horses, burned the wagon, dumped our paper in the...
Where's Rusty?
They ran over him, both legs.
Will he live?
I don't know.
Will he walk?
They don't know. He's at the hospital.
Who ran over him?
Monk Rogers.
I know him.
Cameras are a joke. Old-fashioned manufacturers should be put up against a wall and shot. We have A-bombs. We have men on the moon. We just had some damn plane come from nowhere and land right on a speck. And they still manufacture cameras. Camera should weigh 5 ounces. Camera is a technical thing. It should not be in a way of telling a story. It's like paper. My God, imagine if you had paper that danced and sang and curled up while you're typing, you'd blow your top. Paper is paper, so is a camera. It's what you do with the camera that's important, not the camera. I thought it was amusing and effective to try to tie the, first of all, the camera on the girl. We strapped it, her hand, her arm, her purse, hitting the procurer. You see, so she photographed. They just turned a button and the camera was going. It's a big, heavy weight on her, but in front of that lens, she kept hitting him. Then we tied it on the pimp she was beating up. Now, all she had to do was hit the lens with her purse. And being so close and in movement, it was easy to give the people the authenticity of the fact that she is hitting this man. You can really see her missing the lens, doing things like that. And it paid off. Oh, yeah, and her hair falls off. She's bald. See, and that's a good shocker. I like something that attracts the person immediately, gets you involved, gets you angry, gets you to doubt it, gets you to praise it, gets you to condemn it, anything like that.
$800. You parasite. I'm taking only what's coming to me. 50, 60, 70, 75. I'm not rolling you, you drunken leech. I'm taking only the $75 that's coming to me.
Fuller's instinct for strong headline openings like this one in The Naked Kiss, together with his tough journalistic treatment of low-life characters, often brought him into conflict with the post-war censors.
They are paid by all the major studios to cut out anything that a state will cut out so you don't spend money for nothing. That's it. And I had 3 sequences I shot, and Darryl loved them. Very funny. Of how easy it is for a pickpocket and how they work to score. I shot them. And Sherlock said, wait a minute, you are now running a school of pickpockets. And I said, well, if Dickens did it, goddammit, and he got away with it, we certainly can do it with a camera, for crying out loud. Now, he had the highly artistic, crafty way of showing fingers moving just to take out a kerchief on some damn street in London. That's Dickens. Now, they said, and it was a very funny story. It was in the trades, because I said, if you don't like Dick, no, we didn't say we didn't like, you can crucify a man in a minute. A man who changed the whole goddamn business of little kids working their asses off, asking for another spoon, a ladle of mush. No, we're not, I love it. I love it when you have them by the balls and you squeeze slowly. The criminal being the lead, that's number 1, male or female. Number 2, in my newspaper experience, I found out that I got along very, very well with what we call the lower world, the nether world, or the outer world, whatever you want. They're not girls with great souls, and they're not wonderful religious people who go to Mass every Sunday and then commit a crime. That's good movie making in the old-fashioned days. They're people earning a buck the best way they know how. That's why I like them. It's just a dollar. It's just a survival. Now, I try to bring that out and even in pickup, where it's hard to explain to anyone living what we call the planet of respectability, that the Thelma Ritter character, a professional stool pigeon, would never hesitate to sell her dearest friend for $50 to the cops, and neither would he feel hurt about it if she did. He has his way of making a buck. She's a stool pigeon. She has hers. Now, they're much more honest to me than a politician. They're not promising anybody anything.
Stay away from your shack, Skip. There's the guy gunning for you.
Well, he won't have any trouble finding me. Everybody in town knows where I live.
I didn't pinpoint you, honest. I give Tiger the name of 8 cannons, but that creep that was with him, he fingered your picture like a shot. Confidentially, it sounded like your kind of an act.
You think so, huh? How much did you raise on me for your stoning plot?
Oh, don't be sore. They'd have caught up with you in a couple of hours anyways. I just chopped down on the time a little.
That's mighty nice of you. Who's gunning for me?
What's the matter with you? Playing footsies with the commies.
You waving a flag, too?
Listen, I knew you since you was a little kid. You was always a regular kind of crook.
Yeah.
I never figured you for a louse.
Stop, you're breaking my heart.
Skip came across information that the communist agent wants to buy. And the FBI, United States of America, they want to buy. That's the story I wrote. It's on the screen. He doesn't give a damn about anyone. He'll go to the highest bidder. He even lays a girl to make sure she brings him the 25 grand. She lays him, hoping he would give her the goddamn film. He doesn't care. I have a line in there that was very shaky in 1952. Zanuck insisted that it remain.
Now, can't you see how important this is? We just want you.
I had the FBI man talk to him and say, this is for your country, and I had Widmark say, don't wave the goddamn flag at me. That's in the picture.
If you refuse to cooperate, you'll be as guilty as the traitors that gave Stalin the ABA.
Are you waving the flag at me?
That's a line that means nothing now, but in those days, a very difficult line to get okayed.
Impeached me 3 times, got me convicted 3 times, and made me a 3-time loser. And I know you took an oath to put me away for life. Well, you're trying awful hard with all this patriotic eyewash, but get this. I didn't grift that film, and you can't prove I did. And if I said I did, you'd slap that 4th rap across my teeth, no matter what promises you made.
Do you know what treason means?
Who cares?
Answer the man.
Is there a law now I gotta listen to lectures?
McGregor, get him out of here.
He's honest. It means nothing. He's a pickpocket. The hell does he care about all that crap? I have much more respect for him than any politician or statesman. I like to do a story of a man who is against any system, whether it's good or bad, or whether it does him any good or any harm, or whether he understands it or does not understand it. Because he has his own way of living, feeling, and thinking. This any character I write about.
Stand back, mister! I'm giving you a fair warning!
Griff Bonnell in 40 Guns is a very familiar kind of self-sufficient American hero, the gunfighter. But in Fuller's story, he's a man who's come to doubt and fear the power of the gun.
I wanted to do a story where a man who doesn't want to touch a gun and who knows about guns would have to kill even the gal he wants to marry to save his own ass. That's all. Nothing wrong in that.
What are you afraid of, Griff? Come on out! What are you waiting for? Let's see you shoot her.
I had to change. I had to shoot a scene I hated, where the fellow says he could have killed her if he wanted to. Some silly line like that.
Get a doctor, she'll live.
My man, my hero, in love with that woman, has not used a gun for 10 years. He knows once he does use it, he'll use it to kill. Because I think it's a very important, honest story point that when you fool around with a weapon, it's almost impossible to wound someone. Generally, when you want to wound somebody, you kill them. It's almost impossible. Too much tension, too many tears, too much water in the eye duct when you're shooting anything. Forget movies, it just can't be done. Zanuck, the only time I love that man, hit the ceiling. You just can't have him killed. That's a romantic lead, for crying out loud. Anyway, it's wrong. I said no, but Story says no. This time, he wounds her. And they've got to go off in that sunset. I don't care what you say.
Mr. Bonnell!
But if someone could break her and take her whip away,
Mr. Bonnell!
Despite Fuller's objections, he was eventually forced to add this ending, in which the heroine survives to ride away with the man who shot her.
You may find that the woman with a whip is only a woman after all.
You know how many shooting scripts I have here, you'd be shocked. And when I finish one, I write another one. I don't have any hobby. See, my hobby is my life, my livelihood. I'm very lucky, very lucky. Sit down for the interview. Cigars won't match. Shoot.
This clapperboard is the one used on The Big Redwood, a film which tells the story of the Second World War campaigns fought by the 1st American Infantry Division, in which Fuller himself served.
I don't believe in getting a medal when you hit. I got a couple. The man they should give the medal to is the fellow who hit me. And I try to pass that on even in the regiment. It was a joke. I went up to the colonel. There's this picture right there, see? Colonel Taylor, right there. See him? He said, how the hell are you going to find out? What, are you crazy? How the hell are we? We're at war. I said, well, no, stop cessation just for a goddamn day or two. And I'd like to find the bastard who hit me. Give him the Purple Heart. See? He said, you just don't do things like that. He was laughing. George Taylor became a general. You don't do things like that. But he liked the idea. Because I'm the one that was slow. I'm sloppy, and I'm inferior. He was not. That's why I hit the shock tent, and he kept walking. That's the man you give a medal to. And you don't get medals. Generally, the men who got medals, I got some. I'll show them. The men who should get medals didn't. But I don't remember anybody saying, I'm doing this for Uncle Sam, or I'm doing this for Charlie. You've seen those wonderful pictures they made after World War II and during World War II, where your hero says, this is for Nigel, and he shoots. Bam. This is nonsense. It's bad. It's bad taste. And that's dramatizing and romanticizing war. That's what I have against those kind of pictures. They really make it tasty. They make it palatable for a 14 or 15 or 16-year-old fellow says, gee, this is pretty good. They march, they sing, they have fun, they're getting paid, they travel and all that. And they don't show, 400 or 500 guys with nothing but cocks, ashes, and bowels and intestines all over the area. That's war. We can't shoot that. The people just leave the theater. That's war. It's horrifying.
Oh, my aching butt. By now, we'd come to look at all replacements as dead men who temporarily had the use of their arms and legs. They came and went so fast and so regular that sometimes we didn't even get to know their names. Truth is, after a while, we sort of avoided getting to know them.
I brought some water. Do you know what they call you for, guys? Down a battalion? Sergeant's Four Horsemen. I don't get it. You guys lived through North Africa? You didn't even get a scratch.
That's because replacements keep getting hit instead of us.
You think maybe I'll get it?
Why not? You something special?
I'll go get some, all right? Excuse me. Water.
Survival is my theme in that story. That's why I didn't make any of those fellas get hit. There's no scene of a letter from his folks and a girl's picture, and then he gets killed. I've done that, too. The reason I made that picture is I wanted to really show that the majority of people who returned lived. If 1,000 men went to war, generally 800 or 900 would return. That's all over the world, and it has been like that in history. Surviving, to me, is a war without a war. You're surviving right now. You get in your car and you're going to see if you can meet this man, or if you get your plane ticket, or if there's no strike, or if there is a strike, or if when they pay you, did the check bounce, or is it late? That's all survival. It doesn't have to have. They're the enemy to you, right there. The people you're working with don't think they're the enemy. They're the enemy. There's no two ways about it.
Sam Fuller has found it difficult to survive in the changing structure of Hollywood. In his early years as a filmmaker, Fuller's own kind of reports on America came out thick and fast. Between 1948 and 1963, he wrote and directed 17 films, and on most of them, he was also the producer. Since 1963, he's completed only 3 feature films. The slump in his fortunes came at a time when the big studios were passing from the old-style moguls into the hands of corporate management, at odds with Fuller's kind of filmmaking.
It's just the simplicity of making a film. That's lacking. Just the enthusiasm. I mean, I would tell a scene to Zanuck, told one to Cohn, told one to Warner. Don't forget, 2 men owned their studios, the third owned most stock. They would act out a scene, Nigel, in the office. They would Zanuck would crawl behind his desk, and he'd act it out. And he was a movie maker. He wrote the Rin Tin Tin stories. Cohn was a movie maker. But they liked movies. See, this is what I'm trying to bring out. It's not that they're in charge of a studio, and if United States Steel came to them and said, look, here's a raise of $1 million, come to us as chairman of the board, they would leave. These guys wouldn't. That's the difference.
Ironically, while Fuller was getting the cold shoulder from Hollywood, the value of his work was being recognized by a new generation of filmmakers and critics in Europe. Jean-Luc Godard, for instance, cited Fuller as an important influence on his films of the 60s. But some of the praise he received was ambiguous, as when one critic described him as a cinema primitive.
He said he meant it in a complimentary way. See, and I saw myself as a goddamn untrained, very angry chimp hanging around some goddamn perimeter called civilization, you know. No, it doesn't bother me at all. I hope, but he tried to explain it even at dinner recently, again, that it was the rawness of a situation. That's what he meant, he said. But I met so many wonderful directors in Paris in '65. They threw parties for me and dinners, and then Godard said, I want you to be in the picture. And just wonderful, just wonderful.
What are you doing? I'm an American film director. My name is Samuel Fuller. I'm here to make a picture in Paris called Flowers of Evil.
C'est Monsieur Samuel Fuller. C'est un Américain, c'est un producteur de cinéma. Il est là pour faire Les Fleurs du Mal.
Baudelaire, c'est bien. J'ai toujours voulu savoir ce que c'était exactement que le cinéma.
He says he wants to know exactly what his movie is.
Well, a film is like a battleground.
C'est comme une bataille, film.
Yes. Love,
L'amour,
hate,
la haine,
action,
l'action,
violence,
la violence
death.
et la mort.
In one word, emotions.
Godard made a remark to the press that he used something I use, and he says, this is the first time I heard that word, homage. And we pronounce it homage, but it's pronounced homage. And when I realized what he was saying, I said, I don't know, there's a newspaperman there. This, in the U.S., it's plagiarism. Ah, he said, we, in France, homage. I love that. Do you get the humor there?
On Julia, she runs...
Fuller's latest film appearance is in The State of Things by the German director Wim Wenders.
Over, on the beach, all along the beach. We follow her, let the camera roll, and into the ocean. Well, how'd you like that?
It's a hell of a shot. One of the best in the whole picture if you can get it.
What do you mean if we can get it?
We're out of film. No more film.
Fuller plays the veteran cameraman of a crew trying to make a low-budget black-and-white feature.
Have enough in there for one very quick, brief close-up, and if you were the Emperor of Prussia, Fritz, it wouldn't do you any good. You have no more film to make this picture.
Wenders is one of that younger generation of directors for whom Fuller's work was an early part of their film education.
His interest is truth. He never wants to please you. And that is something you have to get used with, because mostly when you see American films, you start getting used to the idea that they please you. Maybe we could see a little piece of Shock Corridor where there's a scene of a girl dancing, which is a scene you've probably seen 100 times in any of these films, so to speak. But he does something different, and he does something that totally turns it around. It's like the anti-version of all these scenes.
I need somebody to...
Many other American authors are stylists. Sam is the anti-stylist. And maybe that's why he's more American than any of the other ones. You've seen 500 scenes like this in films. But this is the only time where you feel that this is a very dirty job and hard to work in a place like this. And it's ugly. You become somebody sitting in the audience of this lousy club, and he shows this whole dance in a wide shot, and nobody else would even think of it. Not to go in a close-up, and not some softeners, and just show it cruel and crude and raw.
I know.
That's what he does, I think, with a lot of your expectations. He shows the other side. Because he has no respect, and he's not afraid of anything. He has no respect of form and style and refinement. He wants to tell you something, and he wants to make you feel what he tells you. And he doesn't care about the means. And often his means are very crude. And especially if you look for an elegant cinema, you might find his primitive, but it's effective.
In this scene from Shock Corridor, a journalist in pursuit of a story in a lunatic asylum finally goes mad himself.
Feel that?
What?
It's beginning to rain.
I like the rain.
He holds up his hand and there is a drop of water. And there is a pan and you see the corridor. And everybody's there and everybody's okay. Everything is okay. So you think maybe it's leaking or something. And then there's a second pan. He insists on that shadow so much. And you physically start to feel how this guy is being torn apart. The pace of the pan is already nerve-wracking. It goes totally against the pace that you expect. And now it's empty. He doesn't care about continuity or realism. His continuity is the continuity of an emotion. The montage of the Niagara Falls is sheer physical energy pounding down on you. It's total abstraction of emotion. Out of Sam's films, you can come out very mixed up and very confused. And he'd probably be very happy if you tell him you come out of a film of his confused. He'd slap you on your back and say, hey, fella, let me tell you another story. And Sam is in my film like a monolith of storytelling.
But I never really thought in black and white before I saw Our Rushes. Do you know what I mean?
Sam represents a time of American filmmaking that does not exist anymore.
Now, life is in color, but black and white is more realistic. In the 50s, 60s, I had a story. I'd come in and I'd tell it to you. Or you say, make a movie, what do you want to make? And I would tell you the story. You'd say, don't like it. I'd say, okay. You'd say, what else? I'd either say, that's it, or I'll give you another one. You say, like it. Listen to what I'm saying. Do it. That's the deal. It means make it. You walk out. That's because you are talking to the man, only one man. Yes or no? If he says yes, Nigel, it's not a he's not going to say, I'll get together with you Tuesday. We want to brush up a few things. There's no conference, nothing. Nothing. Now you go home and the next day you drive on that lot. There's an office for you, secretary. It's all lined out for you. And you're on your own. Make it. Can't do that now.
Well, the B picture is finished for 10, 15 years already. Doesn't exist anymore. And Sam's whole work was inside that genre. Sam never made a film that took more than 4 weeks to shoot and cost more than $1.5 million.
Now, what they are saying is this. They have to have a meeting. This is the story. Approximately, this is what it'll cost. This is the pro part of it. It's good for us. This is the dangerous part of it. They discuss it. Don't blame them. Each man has a job, and there are quite a few. There are quite a few. And they have conferences. Now, don't forget, they not only have conferences here, they have them in New York. I love it now. No, I'd love to do a scene, a telephone hour. Yes, so. Oh, Jesus, great. It's whether or not somebody kills somebody. It's a silly thing like that. The reason that is atavistic, it goes back, 11 billion years, conferences, is because old storytellers way before Chaucer always had a tale, whether they were troubadours or not. And you know what happened in that Hamlet? And somebody would tell a story, or else they'd write a song about it, and it became famous. It became legendary. And now Bobby Burns would write poems about that damn thing, and it became more legendary. And everything was done on the premise of one thing, a story to tell. It's forgotten now. They're jumping to, which is all right, it's their money, to the future. What's the climate of the audience? What are the last 4 pictures that made money? Will this thing really draw a fly? Would it be good in this country and bad in that country? Is it good for the South? Is it only good for the Midwest? Is this only a metropolitan type of a picture? They'll do all that, see? There's nothing wrong in it. It's their money. The only thing that's wrong with it is that's not the way to tell a story. You cannot tell a story figuring out these things. You must tell a story from an emotional impact.
White Dog is Fuller's only recent Hollywood feature apart from The Big Red One. A girl takes in a stray dog and discovers that it's been bred to attack black people. Rather than have it put down, she wants it to be retrained.
My main trigger in this whole story, the main scene, is when a young girl, face to face with the son of a bitch that mentally conditioned that dog to be a racist dog, instead of blasting him, that's what excited her. He has 2 grandkids. Talking to him means nothing. I covered the KKK for a New York paper. So what? In Little Rock. So what? You can't change their minds about anything. But if she can blast him through 2 kids and change them right there, don't listen to that old son of a bitch. He's a monster.
The SPCA said you have our dog, Miss Sawyer. He ran away from the trailer park. We're very grateful you took such good care of him. We brought you some chocolates.
Did you train him?
I sure did, since he was just a puppy.
To be a white dog?
And the best of the lot.
You bastard!
You look here, young lady.
You sick son of a bitch! You got 2 puppies there, you're gonna teach them to be as sick as you are? Do you know what your grandfather did to that dog? He turned that dog into a monster, a killer. Don't you let him turn you into monsters either. Don't listen to a damn word he says about anything. Not a damn word.
Shut your damn mouth!
Don't even touch me, you sick son of a bitch!
If you don't give us our dog back, I'll go to the police.
Go to the police! Go, you son of a bitch! I'd like to see you walk in there and tell him this story, and then I'd like to haul your ass in court and expose your sick mind for the son of a bitch you are. The dog has been cured. Do you understand me? The dog has been cured. Cured by a black man.
So you've got to stop that kind of breeding. It's a cancer. The United States is a very young country in swaddling clothes. And I even have a diaper. I'll show it to you in a minute. That's the country. I have a real diaper in the corner there. Every time I look at it, it reminds me when I'm writing anything. Make sure you're writing about a baby. We have all the right in the world to do everything all the nations did throughout history. We have all the right. We're learning, we're crawling, and we're wet diapers. The only thing I don't like is to deny it or hide it. That's the thing I don't like. Because history, you cannot deny or hide anything. We have racists, and we have con artists, and we have phony heroes. I will keep on, if I'm alive, making any damn picture I get a hard-on for to show our weakness. Because the more we show our weakness, to me, the healthier the country is. Bring it out. There it is. They say more, more, more. The reply is there is no more. 30 means end of story.
Sam Fuller. Paramount decided not to release White Dog because they say it didn't justify the amount of money it takes to put a film into national release. The good news is that Fuller's now editing a new film in Paris. He tells us that it's called Thieves of the Night and it's a love story. That should be ready for release in April. Good night.
You may be interested to know that we'll be showing Sam Fuller's Dead Pigeon on Beethoven Street on London Weekend Television during the summer.